You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the variety show, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am a certified life and career coach. And on the variety show, we never know what our guests are going to be presenting with us. But our show tonight is really about stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity. And our special guest tonight is Leslie Pomerleau. Let's bring her on. Live from Arizona, it's Leslie. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
So we talked earlier before the show, and you're in Arizona, and you are really the job whisperer, right? You're someone who is gifted in so many ways, but you went through a hard time, a really hard time. And at the same time, you were able to have professional success. So that's really commendable. And I'm really glad that you're on the show because I want our audience, our viewers and our listeners to understand that someone can go through a crisis that is so close to home and so personal and could be so devastating, but you lifted yourself up and you overcame that adversity. So thank you for being strong and courageous and being on our program today.
Thank you. I look forward to sharing my story.
Yes, and I want to spotlight you right away and have you start. So tell us what was happening in your life at the time.
So, a little bit about me. I'm a recruiter for technology, and I place technology professionals at one of the world's biggest companies. And that's something I've done for a few years now. And, my husband was the one that actually got me into recruiting. He was an IT director a long time ago, and he introduced me to the company that I work for now. They tried to recruit him. And so anyway, in July 2019, our lives changed overnight. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer after we went on vacation. And, he went right into the hospital, was in there for a month after that, and, continued to fight cancer. And unfortunately, he lost his battle in November 2020, just a couple months ago. So it was really, really tough supporting my husband with cancer, and then also living through a pandemic on top of it, and then working full time. It was a tremendously challenging year.
I just have chills listening to what you're saying. I have ulcerative colitis for 30 years, and I can't even imagine what it must have been like for your husband, and then what it was like for you taking care of him, because it's not an easy disease. It's actually horrible. So what did you do every day to help yourself stay strong?
Well, I guess part of it is that I'm also a mom. I have a daughter who's a teenager. She's 15, and she really keeps me going. And I think that, just really trying to be strong for everybody. And, I think it takes a little bit of a level of compartmentalizing and just sectioning off and prioritizing and taking it day by day and not thinking too far ahead and getting in the weeds with worrying about the future.
So not only were you being a caretaker for your husband and you were working your career, but you also are a mom.
Yes, I am. And, we have a crazy story on that side too, because I share my daughter with my ex-husband, who we've um, been split up for over 10 years, and we're both remarried. And her dad also had very big health challenges last year. And so he's a diabetic. He had an organ transplant.
Mm.
He had a very hard recovery at the same time that we were dealing with cancer. He had his leg amputated the day after my husband passed.
Oh,
Our family went through a whole lot, and luckily, me and her, we kind of banded together and we stay strong together.
Wow. I can't even understand how I can look at you. Look so calm, so peaceful, and yet you have this energy, this positive energy that's coming through you. Is it the way that you were raised? Is it your upbringing, or is it just something that as you got older, you just have this positive, incredible outlook?
I think it's an inherent part of my personality. I think it is just the way that I have been all my life, and I've gone through a lot of hard things, and I believe in having a positive attitude, and I think that has helped me succeed professionally and in my social life. I think I'm a positive person at heart.
And that's so important, Leslie, as you know. And, we have people watching and listening. We're still in the pandemic, as you know, and there are people out there who mentally are in a bad place, right? They're tired of staying in. Maybe they lost their business. Maybe they lost family members. Maybe they don't have the income they used to have. You just shared with us that you lost your husband. Your ex-husband was going through horrible things, the father of your daughter, and yet here you are, and you have a business that's thriving, all within a window of time. So people out there are just needing to hear from you, who is an incredible survivor, someone who is a leader, someone who gives back. What are the key points that you think a person needs to embrace in their life in order to get through an ordeal, whatever that ordeal is, whatever that struggle is, whatever pain they're in?
I personally, for me, I feel like fostering relationships is very important. I think for me, I'm in a very social setting where I don't see people all day, but I talk to people all day. And, I've always been a very social person, but that was something that helped me a lot last year was, talking to people, and it helped me focus on, them and not what the difficulties that I was going through in my life. So, I mean, for one, continuing to have good social relationships with my professional network, my friends, my family, really staying on top of that. And also trying to take extra time for me and just focus on hobbies and things that I like to do. And my daughter did the same thing.
And you shared the fact before we came on the air that you weren't necessarily telling your clients what was going on with you. So what are your thoughts today as you look back? Do you think it's good to share what's going on with a person personally to your clients, or do you think that it's best to keep it within?
Yeah, I struggled with that a little bit because during the time when I was going through it, I did not want anybody to judge my work, or if something came up that was wrong, blaming it on my circumstances, right? I think it just depends on the relationship. I did share it with some of my consultants who I became close with, that I was friendly with. I've met a lot of friends through my job, people that work for me. And now that I have gone through it and that I am over that part in my life, at this point, I am happy to share the situation because I think it's important for awareness. Personally, I'm 41 years old. My husband was 44 when he passed, and of stage 4 colon cancer, which is a silent, a silent killer. It doesn't manifest any symptoms until it's fairly advanced. And so I think this is a great platform to share that awareness with people because it does affect younger people more often than people realize.
I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story and that of your husband's. So you mentioned with colon cancer, it's undetected until it's too late in many cases. Did he have any symptoms at all before it was too late? Anything that maybe he wasn't paying attention to or just mentioned casually?
You know, our story is crazy because my husband had neurological symptoms. So that really took us in the wrong direction. He did not have GI-related symptoms that we would have expected, but he had neurological symptoms. But the issue was that he had had previous neck surgeries, and he had chronic pain and neurological issues stemming from that. And I found out later on, after he was diagnosed, that the neurology issues that he was having were actually symptoms of cancer, rare symptoms of cancer.
And was there any history of colon cancer or IBD problems or anything in the family?
No. We were, in fact, I hate to say it, he had a colonoscopy the year before.
What? Oh my gosh. And there was nothing detected.
Nope. They took a couple polyps and what I can say is that I do feel that he probably did have some symptoms that he ignored. And maybe I think he was a little passive in terms of his health and letting things go for a long time without saying anything. And so it is also very important that we advocate for ourselves, especially in the medical world, because, you know, doctors are human beings too. And you really have to push when you need answers. You have to listen to
I've been watching. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I listening to your body and making sure that you're really careful about, you know, going after things when something's wrong.
And even during a pandemic, I've heard a number of interviews with physicians saying that it is safe to go back into a doctor's office. You know, they do have a system. You wait in the car and they call you or text you right before you go in. So everybody out there, which including me, you need to get a colonoscopy, get it scheduled. Don't wait. Go and do it. If you're not feeling well, do a telehealth call with somebody, but don't sit there in silence and just think, oh, it's just nothing. It's going to go away, because you never know, right?
Absolutely. If only we could have known, you know, if we had known it a year or two before, we could have had a different outcome to a situation, you know, but once cancer is stage 4, there's not a lot of options.
No, there's definitely not. Well, Leslie, thank you so much. We're going to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And then when we come back, let's dig a little bit deeper into your story.
Sure. Thanks.
Stay with us. Sure. We'll be right back on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live on Business Talk Radio and social media.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Good evening and welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the variety show, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. My guest this evening is Leslie Pomerleau, and Leslie lost her husband to colon cancer during the pandemic, yet she was able to take her business to another level. So for those of you who are out there, we'd love to hear from you. You can call in. The number to call is 631-438-1109. You can also put comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Leslie, I want to take you back just a little. You had mentioned you were on vacation with your husband and then came back, and then the diagnosis was shortly delivered thereafter, yes?
Right.
So was there even any time to talk about what was going to happen to the family and how things were going to go after he passed?
Well, my husband, we battled this for 16 months, which is fairly short. But, in our situation, I suppose that that was the one thing that did come out of it, is that we were able to plan things. He was able to say his goodbyes. He was able to wrap things up with his family and friends, and not everybody gets that opportunity.
Very true. Very true. So in the midst of all this, 16 months, and you have a daughter, and you have a career. So you put on a strong face, you put on a happy face, and you kept doing your work. And, one thing I was thinking about when I'd asked you, and we were talking about whether or not to tell your clients whether somebody should do that. Sometimes, unfortunately, people do make judgments when they hear someone's going through a hard time. And they think, she's not going to be able to handle this. I feel bad. What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, that is exactly true. For me, Personally, like I said, I am a recruiter. I work in staffing, and I have 100 openings all the time, and I talk to 5 to 10 people a day. I'm working on resumes. I'm submitting them to jobs every day, and and sometimes things can go wrong in this industry. Sometimes people miss interviews. Sometimes there's a lot of fires you got to put out. The schedule can be unpredictable. And so, my fear was that, what if I was late to an appointment or a phone call, or, I had to miss something because I had to go to chemo, with my husband. And I wouldn't want people to take that and reflect that negatively in some way and saying, it's because of the cancer. I don't want to work with her. I don't want to take that chance. So I really only felt comfortable sharing with people that I knew, who knew me well.
And I'm sure for those out there watching and listening, they have the ultimate respect for you for what you did and for the choices that you made. And, Leslie, it's really fortuitous that you're here on the variety show, because variety means it could be anything, right? And we see the juggler in the beginning. So you went through a really horrible time, and yet you have this incredible career. And there are people out there now who need work. There are people who are in jobs they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
And here you are, you're saying 100 openings that you're getting?
Yeah. I mean, I work for a boutique staffing company, or a smaller company that we've been around a long time. And it's a great company. I love the people I work with. And I have no shortage of opportunities all the time. I work with a very big company in Portland, Oregon, that is very well known, that is an easy sell. And I also live in Arizona. I get openings here. I'm openings everywhere. Hence my job whisperer title.
That's phenomenal. So for our audience out there, what is it that you look for? I was married to a recruiter, and he always would say it was a marriage between the company and the person, trying to put them together. So for people out there who want to make a change, people who are literally dying emotionally in the work that they're doing, what do you look for when you have an opening and you're trying to fill that opening? What are the qualities, characteristics that you're looking for, regardless of the position?
There's a few things. I would say stability is one thing. I like to talk to people that have been in the same job for a couple years. 2 years is fine. It's okay for people to move around and try new things, but you do want to see some stability. Otherwise, it's a red flag. I would also say I talk to lots and lots of people on the phone, and it's important to have a personality and speak clearly. And, I like it when I talk to somebody and I can hear them smiling on the other end of the phone.
That's so important.
Yes. And then last, I also look at education and training, and sometimes that doesn't always match up, but I think that it makes a difference when someone is trying and they're working towards something.
Great points. Now, I'm sure there are people out there who want to change from whatever industry they're in, and they want to go to another industry. Let's say they come to you and they don't have experience with this particular opening, but they're thrilled, they're passionate, they've been successful where they were before, what they've done. Would you consider someone who doesn't have any experience in that particular industry for which you're looking?
Possibly. I'm open to all conversations because, I'll give you an example. I had somebody that he was a software engineer, but he wanted to get more into a coaching type of role, a Scrum Master role. And he had some experience doing it, not a lot. I helped him rewrite his entire resume, and he had an interview and a job offer the very next day.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you are the ultimate job whisperer, not only the whisperer, but you are the one who gets it done. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think it's important to ask questions, really get a feel for somebody and their skills. And sometimes it takes digging a little deeper. And I try to work hard at that, and I can help them outline what needs to be put in a resume to get attention.
And are there specific types of, roles that you hire for?
Yeah, anything in technology. I place a lot of project managers, product managers. I also hire engineers, all kinds of different software engineers, architects, you name it. If it's in the technology space, I find them.
That's amazing. Now, what if someone comes to you and they have a backstory? So I don't have 2 years because I was started a business, whatever it is. Is that something that you would still consider?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're very open, which I love. So to any of you who are out there who want to make a change, don't be stuck in that mindset that I can only do what I'm used to doing.
Absolutely. And, I personally, I think I have experience on both sides that I can add when I'm talking to people. So for 7 years, I worked at University of Phoenix. And for those 7 years, I helped students choose degree programs. And I, talk to people all the time about their career goals and where they wanted to be in life, and then help them come up with a path to get there. And then I went into recruiting, and now I'm helping people actually get those jobs. So I do have a breadth of experience. I have 2 master's degrees, and they're all in different areas. I have a very diverse educational background myself. So I think that I can bring a lot to that conversation with somebody who's looking to make a change.
For sure. You are so accomplished. And just having gone through what you went through with losing your husband, and yet helping bring people together to take someone who's looking for something and someone who has something to offer and making a match that could be completely life-changing is amazing. So you have this breadth and depth to you that is very deep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's my pleasure, because I just call it the way I see it. So we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back in about 2 minutes. Stay with us here on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn.
My stomach issues make me want to stay home, but that's not an option. No matter how prepared I am, I still feel nervous. Enough is enough.
If this sounds familiar, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can offer you support and connect you with a specialist.
Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
A shout out to our friends at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, a lot of wonderful people, especially in the Philadelphia chapter. We are live on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the variety show on Business Talk Radio and social media. And our guest is Leslie Pomerleau. Leslie, it has been wonderful hearing your story. So for our folks, I always try to bring it back to the audience, right? So for the audience who's out there and they're hearing your story and they're looking at you and they're thinking, this woman's so strong, she's accomplished so much, she's this dynamo, there's no way I could have the strength to overcome what she's overcome. What are some really simple things that we can do as humans, as people, to be good to ourselves?
Take a walk, listen to your favorite music, and take a little walk outside and enjoy nature. And those are a lot of things that I've done in the last year to keep my sanity, or dive into a good book or something that's going to take you away for a little bit and escape. So those are the kind of the things that I try to do to be nice to myself.
Great tips. Now, what about some tips or strategies for people who are going to re-enter the workforce? So in other words, they haven't interviewed in a long time. They're going to come up to a pro like you. So what can they do to hone their skills?
Well, I think that it depends on what they're trying to get into. There's, of course, different types of training. Not everybody wants to go back to school and earn a degree, but there are a lot of platforms out there that people can learn good skills on. For instance, I'm in technology, right? So lynda.com is a great resource where you could pay a $250 annual fee and have access to all kinds of training for technology, whether you want to learn Photoshop or you want to learn project management systems, or you want to learn what a Scrum Master does. So I think just having the passion and drive to pick up something new.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is also many companies, when they are interviewing people, ask a lot of situational questions. They want to know who you are as a person and how you handle a real life situation. And I think it's important for people to kind of think about their story, tell their stories, come up with examples of things, and talking to somebody like me can help, where I can provide, examples of behavioral questions, and we can say, all right, well, what kind of examples do you have where you can tell your story? And having those in some type of outline where people have that and they already kind of know those answers, that'll help them be successful for an interview.
Should they try to close on the first call? I'm going to have a call with you. Should I try to close you on the job, the position right then?
Oh, that's tough. I think that it's a competitive market out there. So, and it's unpredictable as well. So, yeah, I think you do have to jump on things and close the deal, if you will.
I remember way back, because I was at my corporate job for just about 13 years. But I remember I learned from my ex-husband that you want to ask what, if any, red flags do you see in my background that would prevent you from recommending me for this job? And because it's a what question, and then you get it out there like, well, I don't think you're qualified, because then you can overcome that objection right then and there, instead of finding out, and then try to make it a fit. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love that. I think that's great. And asking those open-ended questions where people are forced to talk, that's a very good thing to do.
And, I remember I was in an interview. It was with a company called Siemens in technology. I worked for AT&T for 10 years, then Siemens for 5, I think. And I was interviewing with the hiring person, and his phone kept ringing. It just kept ringing and ringing the whole time. And I didn't do anything. I just sat there. And afterwards, he told me that it was a test. It was a test to see if I could be distracted and if that would throw me off my game.
Wow. That is very interesting. I wonder how many of those tests actually happen.
So I wonder, do you ever do anything like that to try to change things up?
No, I don't. For me, I like to partner with people and I like to help them get prepared. So I give as much information as I can to help them. But so I can't say that that's part of my routine.
Well, that's a good thing, right? I don't think that was a great tactic that the guy took. But so I love the fact that you have so many openings. That's really encouraging. So folks, if you're out there, there are jobs out there, right? You just have to be open and put yourself out there in the world. Can people contact you directly, or can they go to some website to find out what openings there are, Leslie?
Honestly, it's better if they just contact me directly, because we are a small company. We're a well-oiled machine, but we're a small company, and we just do not post anywhere near the amount of jobs that we have, because it's just we have so many. We have hundreds of job openings. I have 100 personally, just with one company, and on top of all the other things that I have. So I'm very open when people contact me on LinkedIn.
So we're running your banner. So for people who are listening on the radio and they want to contact the Job Whisperer, you should go to LinkedIn for Leslie Pomerleau. It's Pomerleau. And that's the best way to contact you.
Yeah, perfect.
Wonderful. Well, it has certainly been a pleasure having you here and seeing your shining face and your positive energy and your accomplishments, your education, the work you've done helping people at University of Phoenix pick their curriculum and which way are they going to go with their lives. And now with 100 job openings in the technology sector, it's just so inspiring. And then coming forward after a personal tragedy like losing your husband and being so strong and so brave to help others. I salute you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Absolutely. And we'd love to have you come back again and hear what's going on in the technology sector. I didn't get to ask you. I wanted to ask you, where do you see technology going? There's so many changes and I love technology. This whole desk is covered with technology. So would you come back and talk to us about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
We'll have you on the business show. So I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Leslie. I'll see you backstage just in a moment. I'll be right there.
Okay. Thanks, Jacalyn.
Thank you. And as always, to our fans, thank you so much for watching, for listening. We try to bring you, and we do, people of integrity, people who are leaders, who are experts, people who have been someplace maybe that you are. Maybe you might go one day and you don't know how to deal with whatever it is. You can always watch our shows on YouTube, Dr. Jacalyn LLC. We would love to have you as a guest to share your story, or if you want to be a sponsor. We now have 11 shows and we are growing. So please go to drjacalyn.com to find out everything that we have going on and how you can be a part of it, how you can be a part of the Dr. Jacalyn family. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and we'll look forward to seeing you Wednesday for our business show at 2 p.m. Bye.